Welcome back everyone, I'm Danny the Dinosaur Drawer, and today I'm going to be showing you all how to draw Light Fury from How to Train Your Dragon. So the equipment we're going to be using in this video is a mechanical pencil, an eraser, and some paper. So go ahead and get those things out and we will get started. Before we get started, here is the reference image I'm using for this drawing. And yeah, let's start off with the outline. So we're going to put in a circle right about here. Draw very lightly at this stage. The circle is going to represent the head. And Light Fury is going to be on all fours. So let's put a little oval sausage shape there for the main part of the body. It's going to have its front legs right about here. Its tail is going to sweep up in front, blocking some of the feet. Then the wings are going to go off to the side, sort of like a Pegasus. Yeah, the tail is going to come there. I have the back legs. We're just getting all the proportions right. I have the big eyes of Light Fury, the ears slash horns. So yeah, once you think you've gotten all the proportions down correctly, then we can move on to the next stage. This is just ultimately putting in more detail into this very rough sketch. So I'm going to start off with the head. That's the first thing we are going to refine. I'm going to start off with this one eye. So these dragons have extremely large eyes, which makes them look more cute, I guess. So let's put in the pupil. And before we color it in, let's make a little square right about here. And that spot you're going to leave light. The rest of it you can color in or shade darker with your pencil. And then on the very edges of the eyeball, we're going to put a little bit of shading to give it some roundness. And once you've done that, we can add one wrinkle above the eye, like so. So there's the eyelid. Just going to darken this area. And then next I think we'll put in the nose. So the nose is itty bitty, it's very small. And then it continues up to form somewhat of an eyebrow. At least a brow ridge. There's no real eyebrow, but there is a ridge there. Then I'll lightly shade the nose. And always have your eraser handy because we don't want these lines from our outline to be there in the end drawing. Okay, so let's move on to the next eye. This one might be slightly more difficult just because it's from a different angle. Let me just erase a little bit in there. And we'll put the same almond-shaped pupil. Like so. Put in a little box there, which we will leave nice and light. And then again put in the eyelid. And I think I might shape the eye a bit down there. Don't worry if you didn't get it right the first time. I might eventually erase this. But yeah, for now I'm going to leave that eye like so. It's very difficult to draw eyes from that angle. Okay, so let's draw the mouth next, which is a very thin line. Light Fury looks like it's smiling. And then we can put in the chin, which is very close to the mouth, so it's got a very thin bottom jaw, which curves up. See, the whole head is quite round. So let's just erase some of these lines we don't need anymore. We have that first horn or ear, I'm not sure which is which. Right there, the main horns right about here. They're not really horns because they look so soft, you know. They're all rounded off. We can draw the top of the head, and then that other horn, which is sort of flopped over a bit. We'll put a little bit of the brow ridge on this side as well. And then take your erasers. If you have one on the back of your pencil, use that because it'll be good for these small areas. And as far as shading, we can add a little bit here to the bottom jaw. We have to do it in a way that it does not look like a beard, you know? You want to make sure it looks like shading and not hair. Then let's put a little bit of shading around the eye. Above it, at least. And I think I'll put a little bit here on this horn. I think Light Fury is easier to draw than Night Fury because Night Fury is all black, so you have to like color the whole thing in, you know. Okay, so I think we're pretty much done with the face. And now we can move on to the neck. So the neck starts right about here next to this horn, or ear, whatever it is. And it continues down, it's got a long neck, and it's not actually that thin. And then connects to the body right about there. So let's again use our eraser to erase these annoying lines. Okay, so let's draw part of the wing that's sticking out here. The wing is folded, so it looks like almost like a shark fin coming out of the side of the neck there. I'm going to put a little like parentheses there and a parallel line. Then a few lines here to represent the folds of the wing. And this would be a little bit shaded in because it's on the inside, you know. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Now, underneath the head of Light Fury, there is a shadow, so let's put that in. And all the shadows, you don't want to do them too dark, because this is a white dragon, and it's going to be like pretty light all over. Hence the name Light Fury, so yeah, you don't want to put too much darkness or else it'll, yeah, look like a different colored dragon. Okay, so I'm now going to move to the first leg here. And I'm going to call them legs for now because it's on all fours. So the legs start off kind of thin and then get much wider in the forearm area. Especially this one looks quite wide at the bottom there. And again, it looks kind of messy, I know. So let's erase these lines in the center of the two leg lines. I'll sweep them away with my brush. Okay, so this inner leg is going to have a little bit of shading right here at the top. Then, as I said earlier, the feet are going to be blocked by the tail. So thankfully, we don't have to worry about that. But we do have to worry about this really extravagant looking tail. So I'm just gonna erase some of these lines. And we can start off with the very tip of the tail, which will be right about here. So yeah, let's continue this line carefully, and yeah, it's got a slight curve to it. Then we'll draw the other line, which is exactly parallel and doesn't get much wider. And then from here, we have all these lines that stick out the side there. And these are also parallel, so you're gonna have, yeah, these quill-like lines poking out of the main spine there, or I guess the tip of the tail. So I'm not exactly sure how many there are, but I'm just gonna guess. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, we want to make sure you draw the same amount on both sides. That's number 2, 3, my hand over here. 5, 6, 7. Okay, so these are also connected together, similar to a bat. It's got like a bat wing texture to it. So you want to connect all of these. As far as shading goes, there's going to be a tiny bit, mostly near the bottom here, to where all these stems come out of the main stem. And then a little bit on this side as well. I'm probably going to be able to do the whole drawing with this one mechanical pencil. I don't think I'm going to have to bring out any shading pencils. With Night Fury I had to do that because he had some really dark spots. Okay, so we're finished with the tip of the tail, but there's also a little bit of decoration here. It's got like a few little spikes in this portion of the tail. And this curves up. It's a little confusing, I know, this portion of the tail. And I think we'll wait to do the rest of the tail once I've finished the wings and the legs. Okay, so the rest of the neck will start off right about here, right below the outer edge of the nose. It's gonna have somewhat of a little hill there, representing the shoulder. The back arches up a bit here, and it's sort of got like a back ridge, similar to an Acrocanthosaurus. That ridge disappears right about there. The back is going to be a little bit shaded, but the ridge will not be. And right about here is where the wing starts. It's going to poke out quite far, similar to the other one. These wings are actually not that long once folded, so it's going to end right about there. It's got sort of curves up. And then this shoulder area is going to be nice and shaded, so we'll go ahead and do that. The dragons have to have like a strong shoulder area, especially when you're like flying. Shoulder has two jobs when you have wings and arms. Okay, so let's put in all of the lines here for the wing, the different stems. So this part of the wing goes up here and it looks like it just connects to the body. And these are also going to be connected like we did the tail, like a bat's wing. And then next to each one, next to each of these stem lines, you can do a little bit of shading here where they curve. It looks very nice. I'm going to do a little bit of shading here at the very beginning, or right where the wing folds. And also a little bit here on the outer edge. But yeah, I think that looks pretty good for the wing. And then right here the body is going to curve down, and we're going to see a little bit of the other wing just poking out from the other side. Then let's just erase these two lines that are left over. Alright, okay, so let's move on to the rest of the torso, which is going to curve up. Light Fury is very thin waist. And this area is going to be shaded because, yeah, all the light's going to be blocked because of the wings. Okay, there we go. Let's put in the far leg first. Now these are a little bit thicker at the top than the front ones. It's going to be a little bit heavier shaded. Then it's got extremely large calf area. It's got a slight bend there where the knee would be. Now again, I'm going to erase the lines we don't need anymore. I can go ahead and erase this tail outline so I won't smudge it. So this curves, and we're going to see some of the toes and claws. Light Fury's got very small claws and toes. So I think it has 4, but we're only going to be able to see 3 from this angle. Then I'm going to add a little bit more shading. Then this leg is going to be like lifted off the ground a bit. It's almost like in a walking position. And therefore it's going to be a little bit harder to draw. So this one's bent back. You know what, I'm just going to change it and draw it a little different than the reference image has this leg positioned. I'm going to move it forward a bit. Then let's put in the knee right about here. And then the tail is going to be covering most of the toes except for this one, which we will see a little bit of. As far as shading goes, I've been saying that a lot in this video. I do realize that. We're going to do a little bit here on the bottom and a little bit on the top right under the wing. So yeah, we're going to start the tail off here and then connect it to that line we just put in. And then on the top of the tail, it's got some weird folds. So I'll try and incorporate those in. And it's got a little ridge here on the top. Tail that curves over. And then those folds will connect here to this fold that comes out, and then ultimately to that fancy end of the tail. And then of course we'll have to continue the bottom part of the tail. Like so. So we're very close to completing our drawing. Congrats to all of you who came this far. So we're going to shade the entire area under these folds. Like so. Maybe a little lighter here. Then it's going to lighten up, then darken it a little bit here. And yeah, let's sign our drawings right here next to the tail. I put my initials and the date, or at least the year. And I'll clean up a bit with my eraser. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, please leave it a like. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Comment below what you'd like to see next. And share this video with any friends who you think might enjoy it. And yeah, thank you guys so much again for watching. I'll see you in the next video.